Yo, what's up? I am live streaming again, so it took a little bit of a break. I was working on some stuff that I couldn't live stream, and now I'm working on stuff that I can. So I'm going to be doing some live streaming. You are welcome to join the Discord where we'll do chatting and whatnot. And the Discord for this, because it's a remix specific live stream, is the remix Discord, and I put a link to the event for today's live stream in the description of this video, so you can get a link directly to it. Let me just grab live stream chat. That's where we're gonna be, and let me share my screen. Oh, I sure hope I didn't show any keys there. I don't think I did. Hold on a second. Let me close stuff really quick. Okay. Yeah, no private keys, so that's good. Let me close that. I'm pretty sure we don't want that. Oh man, I've got so many things open. I was not prepared for this live stream. Normally I close all these windows ahead of time, and there are some keys, but that's just my test stripe key, so that's like probably no big deal. Okay, cool. Now we're ready to share my screen. Okay, so the first one I'm working on is infinite scroll, and I've actually already built this and worked on this already, so we should be okay. I'm just going to drag this, add folders, copy folders, that's what I want. Okay, I didn't copy over the node modules because it would take longer probably to copy than to just install. I don't know, maybe not, but yeah, there we go. Cool, so let's take a look at package.json, make sure we're on the latest. I believe 1.0.6 is still the latest. We do have an experimental build, but we can just go with the latest. This is within the remix examples, or the remix repo in the examples directory, and this is for infinite scroll. So if we look at the app routes index, this is where all this stuff is. I'm guessing ESLint is complaining because we added all these files after it booted itself up. ESLint is weird that way. But it looks like that's not the problem. Oh, right, it's this thing. There we go. Save and autofix. That's nice. Thank you. Okay, sweet. And I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff that's a little confusing. But let's at least get this thing running. Sweet, so there it is. It does run and it updates the URL, and I think that is pretty stellar. One thing that I needed to change about this was, let's see, Tanner Lindsley React Virtual. I'm pretty sure, whoops, pretty sure he released a newer version that has something that I need, 2.10. Yep. So let's run that install again, and let me find that issue. Can y'all hear my kids? They're cleaning, but they're playing this cleaning game, and it's fun, but can be a little bit loud. Sweet. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I didn't show this earlier, but I should probably start this. Oh, it started. Okay, good. But yeah, so this is where we're going to be chatting in the live stream chat. So in case you didn't know, that's where I'm going to have that open. I think the YouTube probably has the live chat on the side. I am going to ignore, I think it's on this side. I'm going to ignore that because it's just easier for me to manage the Discord, and I just like it better. I don't know. Should I? Let's take a look here. In fact, you know what I should do is I should post a link to the live stream. There it is. Hello, friends. Yeah, let me post this to the Discord so folks can grab that. Yeah, I guess I can. Okay, we're gonna try it. I've just had some bad experiences with YouTube not caring about people being really terrible people on here, but we're gonna try this. And I will have both the Discord and the YouTube open, the YouTube live chat. So we'll see. Hopefully y'all are nice. Okay, let me find the issue. SSR support. And he said it was solved by this use observer thing. This PR initial rect. Okay, cool. So that's what I'm looking for. initial rect. That's not on here, but we do have a docs. Search docs. Boom. Initial rect. Spinner. Huh, that's interesting. Try again. Nope, no dice. Okay. It's possible it was not documented. API reference. There we go. Initial rect. Okay, so it's optional. Defines initial rect size of list. Can be used for server-side rendering. That's exactly what I asked for it. And yeah, so our initial rect for use virtual. I'm guessing this is some sort of number. Nope, it's an object. Width and height. That makes a lot of sense. Width. I don't actually care about the width, but the height, I can say what the height is going to be because I specify it to 800 pixels. So now, on this, oh, it's not running. There we go. I have an alias, nrd, and anytime, that's for npm run dev, and anytime I run that, I always say in my mind, nerd. Okay, cool. So let's come back here, we'll refresh, and here's the cool thing. Because it's server rendered, we can look at, we've got item 10, boom, 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 boom. It looks like it goes as far as item 23, which is exactly what I need. Sweet. So it's server rendered, the whole list. That's great. That's what I'm looking for. Cool. And then, yeah, and then you can scroll from there. Okay, sweet. So then the next thing is I want to be able to hit refresh and have it scrolled in that position. Yeah, this is currently not supported. So yeah, this is unfortunate. We don't have a mechanism for restoring scroll position here, but I think I can build it myself. So that's what we're gonna do here is we're gonna restore the scroll position. So this will probably involve a before unload right here, on before unload. Use before unload. And so in this hook, I will say, hey, before you unload, I want you to persist the scroll position of this scrollable thing into session storage in the browser. And then in a use effect, before React Query takes over, I'm going to say, tell it to scroll to a specific spot. I'm not sure if React Query gives me those APIs. I know that I can control scrolling, but I don't know if I can do that before. I don't know. We'll see. I might be able to make this work. I think I will. We'll find out. Okay, so actually, you know what? We don't even need to use the use before unload to see if it'll work. So I'm going to get rid of this. And we're going to say React use effect. Yeah, okay. And we want to take our parent ref, and this is going to be right here, current, and yeah, scroll top, start. What is start? Oh, okay, yeah, sure, times 35. Wow, that is nuts. That's not what I was expecting to do, but that works. That's so cool. Okay, and our start is changing over time. We actually only want to do this on the initial render. So we're going to grab our initial start. And this is going to be... Is there a list of examples I'm covering? No. I will get as far through this infinite scroll as I can. And like I mentioned, I should say that this isn't a let me educate you live stream. This is I'm working on something. Feel free to watch. That's what this is. Oh, and Ryan is watching. Hey there, Ryan. He's saying you'll want to use layout effect when you. Yep, that makes tons of sense. So here's how you do a Ssr layout effects, because this is running on the server. Use Ssr. Actually, you know what? I've got it in my clipboard. Use Ssr. There it is. So you say type of window is undefined. Well, in that case, our hook does nothing. It's just a function. Otherwise, it's use layout effect. And this is how you work around the SSR warnings. This is like, I know what I'm doing. But one problem with this is you're not going to get the ESLint warnings right here. You could configure ESLint to do that though. Okay, so Ryan was typing something else. He's leaving now, just popped in. Hi there. See ya. Okay, cool. So we want our initial start. And so this is our little hack to do that. I could do a ref, but yeah, this works just as well. So here's our initial start. And hopefully we won't need to do this in the future, by the way. In the future, Remix will have an API for you to say, hey, this thing that's scrollable, I want to restore this thing's scrollable position when you navigate around. So in the future, we will support that. And so you won't have to do all this nonsense. Okay. So we can say if that's not a thing, then let's just early return. That should never happen as long as React continues to work as it should. But TypeScript wasn't happy about that, so we will make TypeScript happen. Okay, so we'll set the scroll top to the initial start times 35. That's what our size is for everything. And actually, that should work. Yeah, let me think. Yeah, that should work. Hold on a second. So if I come down here and my start is at 80, then there I am at 80. It changed my query string, so that's weird. I'll have to figure out what that is about. But here, if I go to 600, boom, I'm at 600. So we can make this better though by not just restoring it to the start, but instead restoring it to the position that we put in local storage or session storage or whatever. Yeah, that's cool. That ended up working out nicely. So yeah, on use before unload, we'll say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. This needs to be in a use callback. Bring that in with Remix and session storage dot stuff dot. Let's see, scroll position, scroll top. I actually like calling the set item directly. So this will be our infinite scroll top, and we'll set it to the parent ref current scroll top. There we go. And yeah, I guess I don't care. ToString, sure. Why is this complaining? It is complaining because, oh, it could possibly be undefined. All right, fine, we'll just do this. If there's not a current, then we'll return. And now you won't be so mad. And I don't think I need to ToString that. Oh, I guess I do. TypeScript wants me to ToString it, but it would stringify fine. Okay, cool, and we don't need that there. So that's sweet. And then instead of the initial start times 35, we can say the session get item yada yada yada. Actually, I wonder, session storage, come on. I'm waiting for Copilot to figure it out. Get item. No, oh, there it is, infinite scroll top, or 0, I guess. Here, I don't want to bother with it if we don't have a value, so whoops. So let's say infinite scroll top. And if we have one, or if we don't have one, then we'll return. Yeah, otherwise we will number the infinite scroll top. There we go. Stellar. All right, let's see if that works. I don't know what this was complaining about, but probably doesn't matter. There we go. Okay, so then we scroll down and we're like partway through 470. We refresh and there we are. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that. Now we need to fix this flash of that loading state, because it should definitely not be doing that because it server renders. But it looks like we are doing a data or a fetch here. Looks like we're doing 2 of them. One where the limit is 200 and the start is 0, and then another with the start at 760. And that's probably why we're getting that flash of loading state. So our search params initialize that. I wonder why it is. Yeah, I have to remind myself how all this code works. So I land on here, and it is updating the URL. So let's take a look at our set search params where we're doing that. So that's happening in this use effect. That makes sense. If the needed start is not equal to the start. So I'm guessing, that's interesting. Yeah, so sorry for the person who just asked what I'm working on. I'm working on an example for using Remix with infinite scroll. And so it works, and it works great. Right now it updates the URL. I think I'm going to add a session and store those values in a cookie so that you don't even update the URL, but you still get infinite scroll that relies on the disk cache from the browser and will restore scroll position. That will be so cool. Yeah, for right now, I am. I just finished restoring the scroll position. Now I need to figure out why this set search params is being run. And I think I have an idea, but let's go ahead and add a debugger right here. Oh my goodness, I just turned on my screensaver. There we go. Hold on a second. I'm gonna just help with something really quick. I just need to do something for my kids here really quick. They've been working really hard to clean the downstairs so they can watch The Lion Witch in the Wardrobe. So we're gonna turn that on for them really quick. My wife says that their job is done. They've been wanting to watch this for a while. I don't know why. But yeah, we've got this like old cartoon Lion Witch in the Wardrobe that I used to watch when I was a kid all the time. And so I found it on like Amazon or something, the DVD. There we go. And I love it. I think it's awesome. I'd watch it with them if I weren't working right now. Okay. Sorry, I just noticed a bunch of notifications that I need to clear. Okay, so we've got our debugger. And there we are. Somebody messed up the Chrome DevTools because when you land on a debugger, it doesn't update your source's location anymore. You have to click on this, which is really annoying. I don't like that, but it is what it is. So this is interesting. I was expecting that on the server render, you'd actually see all the items in here, but it's not rendering those. So that is unexpected. We'll have to see why that is happening. So here's our start. That makes sense. That's where we are there. The needed start, it's saying is 0. So that is the reason why we're setting the search params to 0. That's kind of what I suspected. So, yeah, okay. So then here, I actually need a debugger right up there to walk through how this is calculated. So let's start over. Okay, so hold on a second. There we go. Okay, that's interesting. The first time it didn't render anything, nothing to... Okay, so on the server render, it's actually showing nothing to see here. So that also is something I need to look at. It might be the same problem. This is Dank Mono, is my font. Okay, so we're gonna step through our first virtual item is at key 0. So for some reason, it is starting us out there. So I think I need to, I think the solution to both the server render and the client update is I need to tell React Virtual, this use virtual hook, where we're starting. Yeah, where that start is. And I'm not sure how, how possible that is with their API. So we'll see. We've got size overscan, yeah, horizontal, scroll to function, initial rect. And this is the thing that they added for me. So hooray. Use observer. Okay, yeah. Okay. I don't think that's what I want. We got padding, key extractor, range. think that's what I want. Use window observer. I don't think is what I want either. Yeah, that's not it. Maybe I do need use observer. Parent ref. So I get the parent ref. Will this even be called on the server? I don't think it will. So I think I may need to do a little bit of trickery to work around some of this stuff. So in my debugger here, where am I? So I do get my start, the lower boundary. Yeah, so that's like the bottom of the list. Once you hit there, then we need to move the start. And the first virtual item index is 0. And I get that from row virtualizer, which is coming from use virtual. This was really easy until I wanted it to be cooler than any other virtual scroll thing that you see in the real world, where you can refresh and be right where you are. Look, I go to Twitter and like they're the perfect example of, you know, scroll, virtualization. Wow, that's amazing. And here we're loading more, and then I hit refresh and I'm right back at the top. So Twitter doesn't even do this. And you could argue that maybe that's not what you would want on Twitter. Like sometimes you hit refresh because you want to start at the top. Although they do have other mechanisms for getting you to the top. So I would say it would be kind of cool if I could hit refresh and be restored where I was. So we're going to make this cooler than any other infinite scroll you've seen before, but it may require some trickery. So yeah, so we've got our start, we've got our limit, and I need to say if we have not hydrated yet is what we need. Which I think actually, maybe I can just have if it's not mounted, then don't do this set search params. So if this is the first time that we're calling this use effect, then don't bother with the set search params. Yeah, so like what I could do, first render, or yeah, true. Let's just try this. Maybe we could probably come up with something that's better. So if first render, then actually false, but return. Yeah, let's see what that does. Oh, we got it. Here, let's turn off the debugger. Okay. And I thought I turned you off. What the? Oh, huh. Pretty sure that when you do that, even debugger statements won't stop you, but. Okay, there we go. So we refresh, boom. Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I did see a bit of a flash of loading state. So let's slow down the network and see if there is some sort of weird loading thing going on. So I'm gonna scroll down, we'll go a little ways. Oh man, that is interesting. Huh. Yeah, so it is on a slow network connection. If we scroll really fast on a slow network connection, then we're going to get this loading more. So this is just the index. This is the actual item itself, and the item is item space index. And so that's why you're seeing these two numbers. And that's why you get loading more for the item, but then you still see the index, because we know what the index is just by scrolling. Okay, anyway. It's pretty cool though. Like what's really cool is I'm not managing any sort of cancellation of requests or whatever. As the user scrolls and they scroll past that data, we're like, oh, I guess I don't need that anymore, so I'll cancel that request. We don't have to worry about that as users of Remix. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, and then things can be served from the disk cache. Yeah, we need to figure out this favicon problem too. For some reason, it's refetching the favicon as we're updating these search params. I think I kind of have an idea of why that's happening, and it may involve a fix in Remix, but maybe not. We'll see. Okay, cool. Anyway, so on a slow network, if I hit refresh, I should be at 3181 on the server render. Huh, that was interesting. It was really fast. I'm pretty sure I still saw a loading state though. So like it flashed. So here, you know what? Here's what we need to do. Needed start and start. Okay, so they are the same. So it's not updating my my query string right here, and I can see that. It's just not showing me that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Darius, you're right. Being able to link to a specific scroll position would be really cool, especially like on a dashboard or something. You're like, hey, I was looking at this thing, and so if we're like let's say you're on GitHub looking at all the commits and you're scrolling, and they implemented infinite scrolling because that's a thing you can do, and so they did that, and you scroll and you scroll and scroll, and so instead of the start being just an index, it's actually a commit. And so you could just hand that off to somebody else, and it will, boom, just stick you right where you want to be. That actually would be a sweet feature. Right now they're doing pagination. That's the demo I'm going to build next, and that's way easier than this. That is way easier. So yeah, the specific thing that I'm building, I'm working on making it so people are really successful with Remix. That's the thing I'm building. Success with Remix. Okay, so we're not updating the search params, but for some reason, well, and we're not making a fetch request either. That's yeah, that's what's really odd, that I'm getting that loading state. So here, let's slow down our where is that? There we go. Our network, or our CPU. Just see if I can see that. Yeah, it says nothing to see here. Why is it doing that? So we get nothing to see here. Oh, right. If our transition state is loading, then we say loading more. Item.value. So if there's an item, then we'll display the value. So apparently there's no item, but the item comes from data, which is coming from our use loader data, which will always be there. So we should be seeing the item value. Transition state is loading, then we're loading more. But in our case, it was nothing to see here, is what it was. Okay, so there's probably something funny between the start and virtual row index. So let's, oh, that's gonna log a bunch. Yeah, let's do this. We'll log. State is initial at start, right? Or idle or something. Yeah, so the state, this transition state is gonna be idle. Yeah, but it shouldn't even get this far. It should stop right here and be like, oh, I've got the item value. So the item is undefined, is probably what's going on. So we've got this array of items, and I'm just not sure. There's something wrong with the start minus this virtual row index is what's going on. But I've just got like a bajillion of those things. So we're gonna console log the start, which is, I expect that to be what I want it to be. But the virtual rows items is probably not what I want it to be. Yeah, so here we get it with the server render, which is good. So that's interesting. We're getting index at 0. Oh, right. No, that's what we want, because we only have so many on the client at any given time. And as you scroll, we clear those out and put new ones in. And so the first one will always be index 0. That's why we're doing this absolute value difference between start and index. And so this should be data items at index 300 or 3120, which I think is correct. So our data items, hold on a second. Let's look at our data as well. Huh. Oh, right. That's our items. I'm looking at our data. Okay. Got our ID. Yeah, so these are all index 0. So this math absolute value for start and virtual minus virtual row index is going to give us I think that I think there's something wrong here. That explains why it's saying there's nothing here, is because we're looking for data items at index 3120, but we only have 200 items, so of course it's not there. But then here, let's just refresh here really quick. Yeah, okay, so that's our document render there. So then something happens to change our the way that these things are calculated. So on this final render, when everything's lined up properly, our data items is still an array starting at index 0, and our items here, the index, there it is. Yeah, so before we're hydrated, the index is actually set to 0 because React Virtual doesn't know where we are in the window, and so it just initializes to 0. So we need to be able to tell it where we are in the window on the server render, and that currently is not supported by React Virtual, I believe. Yeah, if I knew this better, this code base, then I'd maybe be able to do this. Let's see how bad that. No, that's actually not too bad. Let's see if we can figure this out. Scroll top. Okay, scroll key. Scroll to function. That makes sense. Let's see. Index. There we go. Measurements. Index. Key extractor. That's the key. Yeah. So measurements, there it is. So pending measured cache indexes ref. Wow. Tanner, my man, you have put a lot of work into this stuff. I'm so glad that he's doing this stuff. Yeah, latest ref pattern right there. Boom, cool. Except he's doing a side effect in render. Whoops. Put that in a layout effect. Oh, this whole thing is the memo. Sorry, I was thinking that it's just this first part. Okay, so yeah, let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure. I equal min. Okay, yeah, so that's where the start will be. Well, and that's min is 0. Pending measured cache index is ref. And that's this React use ref array. Okay, so then we have this measure ref for the items. Let's see, measure ref. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's a way to not work around React Virtual here, but it looks like that is not. What I'm looking for is not possible. So here, their measure ref says if there's an element, which on the server render there won't be, then we're going to do all this measurement stuff. And I suppose otherwise, well, I guess otherwise it's probably never called. Oh, that's interesting. I don't even see it anywhere else on here. What is measure ref for? Oh, that's for dynamic measurement rendering. Oh, okay. So we can override this So this is the default measurement stuff, but it's never called. I don't know. Maybe it's called in one of the other files. But I don't think that's what we're looking for. Yeah, we've got our measurements. Which is refify or memoized. And we just need a way to set this min. And that is only set within the measure ref. And measure ref, I still don't know when that's called. So let's find out. That I think that is actually relevant. So there are only 2 other files in here. I don't think it's that one, but yep. You know what? So I showed my use SSR thing. If window is not defined, wait, if window is not undefined, then use layout effect. Oh, right, yeah. So if we're on the browser, use layout effect. Otherwise, use effect. This actually is useless because if window's not defined, then the use effect will never get called anyway. So you can just do an arrow function right there, and it works. Cool. I just noticed somebody said that they're going through Epic React. Good. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. So anyway, we're looking at use rect measure. Measure ref is never called anywhere. Okay, so this is, I've just been nerd sniped. How does this work? React virtual dist. Oh shoot, I don't know which one of these we're using. Probably development. Measure ref. Am I supposed to be calling measure ref? Okay, hold on. Maybe he's got documentation. Okay, let's just look at a couple. Oh, variable is probably where it's at. View source. Nope. Okay, here we'll just look it up here. Measure ref. Oh, okay. So this is so that I can specify. Hold on a second. Measure ref. Okay, so I can put this on an element, and that element can have a variable size, and React Virtual will measure that element when it is rendered to the page. And that's how it will determine what the scroll size should be. Okay, cool. So, no, that's not what I need. I don't need to use that API. Okay, cool. So I understand that. So I'm still, and that will not get called on the server render anyway. So now that we figured that out, no, there's not currently a way to do what I'm trying to do with React Virtual. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to open an issue and say, hey, here's this workaround stuff I've got to do. It would be really cool if I didn't have to do that. And see what they have to say. Tanner will probably be all over that. In fact, I'm going to lunch with Tanner tomorrow because he and I are friends. He's great. I'm actually really looking forward to that. Okay, so Utah's the best. Come live in Utah. There's all sorts of cool people here. So we're going to have to work around this. And this will be okay because we actually already work around this with the first render thing. So we know that it hasn't rendered yet. Now this is not, yeah, like maybe it's not kosher. So just to make it so that people don't judge me, I'm going to switch to a ref for this. Or actually we could do, yeah, it'll be a ref. So is mounted ref react use ref false. And then we'll come down here. So if we're not mounted, then we'll say true. And actually, you know what? This should probably, let's just put all this in its own little section here. React use effect. There we go. We can get rid of this first render nonsense. And here's the kicker. We need this to run last. I'm pretty sure they run the cleanups in reverse order and the effects in the order they appear. So we're going to want this to be actually at the bottom here because we need this to run first. Okay, so if it's not mounted, then we'll return. Otherwise, we can do all this stuff. Okay, so that allows us then to say if we're not mounted, then we're either on the server render or on the client. Now, what's interesting, oh no, yeah, the server render is also messed up. So in either case, before we're mounted, React Virtual doesn't know where, like what our index should be. And so our virtual row index is going to be 0. And so in that case, we don't need to subtract the start. We'll just go with that. So our index then will be, if we're is mounted, it will be this. Otherwise, it will be just the virtual row index. And then we can stick that. I'm pretty sure this will work. Let's see what happens. Okay, now that's interesting. That now, yeah, that is not going to show up in anything real. I wouldn't expect that to ever show up in anything real. But you'll notice that we start out with, oh, well, I guess it happens really fast unless you're throttled. Let's do 6x slowdown. Yeah, so you see it starts with 0 at the top and then it updates. So the reason that's happening is because we're rendering the index right here, the virtual row index. If we render the index, then that'll fix that. Well, I thought it would. Hold on, why is that not fixing that? Because, yeah, so if we're mounted, then it's the index is going to be the difference of the two. Otherwise, it's the virtual row index. So yeah, this is actually not going to be the index. This will be indexing the whole data, the whole amount of data, which means that this will need to be that index plus the start. That's what we're actually trying to render. There we go. And that is not good. I don't know why it's having me bump around. Oh, I do, because we're using the start. Ah, dang it. Okay, so I just noticed there's a bunch of chat here. Let me take a look. Is there any way to know a div height and width before it is rendered so I can use a bin stack algorithm to stack items efficiently? Yes, if you set it explicitly, then like I'm doing here, I'm saying each one of these is exactly 35 pixels tall. So I know that that's how tall it's going to be. If it's dynamic though, you cannot do that before it's rendered. But React Virtual kind of manages that for you. It just won't work from the server render. So something to, yeah, unless you want to simulate the layout in Node so that you can calculate what the heights are going to be, all you can do is your best estimate. Okay, so hold on. Yeah, I'm actually kind of confused. So 3120, because that's where our start is. But we should not be rendering 3120. Our item. Oh, right. Because we're going, because those indexes, yeah, shoot. Because okay, so here's the window, or all of the items starting at 3120 right here. I don't know if you can see both my hands. Yeah, here we go. So 3120 is right here. Is that the way? I'm mirrored. So left to right. Yes. That's right. Okay, so here's where we're at. 3120 is right here. That's the whole thing. 3120 to 3320. We have 200 items. And then we're in this window right down here that we're scrolling around inside of that. And when we get too close to one side, we'll add more. If we get too close to the other side, we'll add more. And so within this window, we are, oh, whoops, that was a mistake. Within this window, we're starting at 3181. That's where we are at in a scrolled position. And, oh man. And so on the server render, 3120. Oh, whoops. Yeah, there we go. 3120 is all we can do because we don't know where we are in the scroll position. That is actually stored in the session in the browser. But we could put it in a cookie session, and I wanted to do that anyway for the URL. So here's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make two demos. One of like, here's the infinite scroll that's like your normal thing, and it's really easy. It doesn't update the URL. It doesn't restore scroll position stuff, just to show that like your typical thing is not complicated at all. But because we have Remix, we can do some other cool stuff. It just requires a little bit of extra work. So I'm gonna stop where we're at right now. I'm pretty sure we can solve this problem. And also like the little bit of extra work also has an impact on there was something else I was going to say about that. Yeah, forgot. Anyway, it's not as nice, but it's way, oh yeah, it has some constraints because you have to do your best guess on the server render. And for us, we know, like we're setting it to 35, but if it's dynamic, then you're going to have to just do your best guess, which you end up having to do anyway. So it'd probably work out anyway. I foresee people actually being able to use this, use both of these. So let's stop with this one. We'll build like, here's the simple example of infinite scroll. Here's the advanced example of infinite scroll. So let's do that. I'm gonna come right here. We're gonna say advanced, or yeah, advanced TSX. We'll have a simple TSX, and then our index will just link to those two, and you can choose which one you want to look at. Okay, so we'll stick all this in our advanced and in our simple, and then let's, yeah, remix component, index, route. We have no data here. We're just going to have some links. Index route, okay, infinite scroll demo. And this probably makes more sense to put in a P tag. We'll say there are two demos here. The first is first shows how to do this in a simple way that's pretty standard for this type of user experience you have around the web. The second is a bit more advanced, but a much better user experience. Pick your, I don't want to say pick your poison, but pick your preferred method. Okay, so then we'll have a link to advanced, and let's see, simple, sweet, and then we'll have that from remix, and boom. Let's put this in a UL. For goodness sake. There we go. And LIs for both of those. I mean, nice try, Copilot. That needs to be a 2. Close call. Or you could have done better. That's okay. Simple, advanced. All right, let's go with the simple first. Huh, that's interesting. Why is it, huh, that's weird. Yeah, it started me at 3120. I don't know why I did that. Oh, it's because it's stored in my session storage. That's why. We need to clear that session storage or something. Yeah, that brings an interesting point. When do you clear that? Probably on unmount. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, let's fix that in the advanced. We're not going to do that in the simple one. We could do that in here. There it is. So that'll fix that. So then if I go here and then we only want to restore it when we're hydrating, but we don't want to restore it when we are when we're doing a client transition. And this reminds me of the problem that we faced with the login modal in my last live stream when Ryan joined us, and that was fun. It was a bit of a head scratcher, but yeah, there's an easy way to determine whether you're hydrating or client rendering, and that is if you actually there's it occurs to me yeah, well, yeah, the easy way to tell is if on your initial render, is the DOM already in place? Is the DOM already there? Are the elements there? And if they are, then you're hydrating. So we only want to do this if we're hydrating. So we could probably put yeah, yeah, you know what? Sometimes it's easier to think about things in isolation in a hook. So use is hydrating. And this is not going to be state. This will be probably just a value that we return. Query string. And we'll say if type of document. So pro tip, actually, this should be document. Because in Dino, window is defined. It's going to blow up everything. Document is not though. So pro tip, don't use type of window undefined anymore. Use document, because otherwise your stuff won't work on Dino. So if you're like writing a library something. So anyway, if document is undefined here, and actually, you know what? Let's take this there, and we'll make this is server render, and then we'll just reuse that. That'll work. So if this is a server render, then we'll return false because we are not hydrating. If the DOM is already, if the DOM is not already there, so yeah, we're gonna hack this a little bit. Is DOM is there, React use state. We're gonna do this because I don't want this to run on every render. I don't want to query the DOM every render. So we're just gonna do this here. And we'll say document query selector query string, and we'll Boolean that thing. Oh, and it's getting mad at me because of this. So we'll just say this. If it's not the server render and that. There we go. Now you're not going to get mad at me. So, yeah, if the DOM is there, we've got our query string. Yeah, actually, I think this is it. I guess probably something better now because I've got my server render. Is hydrating is probably more appropriate. So if we're not on the server render, then we are not hydrating. So that makes sense. So is hydrating is false if we're server rendering. If we're not server rendering, and the document query selector returns something, then we are hydrating. If this ends up being false, then we're not. So that works out. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's do this. Return 0. There we go. Ha. Okay, I hate that. Let's give it a variable name. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, cool. So now we know hydrating. And we're looking for an element that we can we can look for have some sort of query string. So I guess we can just say list. Let's do data infinite, or let's see, hydrating. It's like our signal. Sure. I think it's probably stupid, but that's okay. I think that's maybe okay. So data hydrating, or hold on. We're looking, yes, that's what we're looking for. So data hydrating signal. Okay, so now we know whether we're hydrating, and if we're hydrating, let's see. Yeah, and the is hydrating will never change, so we can stick it in a dependency array, no problem. So if we're hydrating, or here, we can say if we're not hydrating, then we return. And now this is, we're not going to get the warning because this is not a use effect thing, but we'll put it in there for completeness. So he's asking why I don't use font ligatures, because I think they look kind of funny, and other people do too. And I don't really mind them too much, but yeah, some people freak out about them, so I don't care that much. Does Remix have a root at all? Could you target that? Yeah, I could. So we do have a root. We render it. We render the entire thing. And so I could target like something in here. But that's a bit of indirection. I kind of like that I have this right here, and I'm like, what is this? Oh, it's that. Okay, yeah, now I sort of get what's going on. So yeah, there probably is another way that we could do this. We could even make like a global variable that we mutate. That could work as well. Yeah, but I'm kind of happy with this. Okay, cool. So now if we're hydrating, or if we're not hydrating, then we don't do anything. We don't care. Yep. Okay, cool. So this should work now. If I go to advanced, then I'm restored into the scroll position. But if I go over here and then I click advanced, we should be at 0. Boom! That's what I'm talking about. So there you go. That's another piece for the advanced stuff. But we're going to go to simple. And simple is much simpler. Simple doesn't need all this nonsense. And so we're going to get rid of a bunch of it. Let's see. We do still need to request. Let's see. I think we'll probably use fetcher for this. Yep, we're gonna use fetcher. to get all of the data as we go, rather than this start and limit nonsense in these search params. Transition may still be useful, maybe, but mounted stuff, that we're not going to need that. Before unload, Ssr Layout Effects, not going to need that. Yeah, okay, so lower boundary, upper boundary stuff. I think we're probably still going to need that. So this is like, we have this much data and we're showing this much of it. Most of the time, what most people do is they just add more data, and then as the user scrolls back, they still have all of this. And so we could probably make it a fair bit simpler by just keeping the data around. That's what everybody does. Here, actually, you know what? Let's see what Twitter does. If we are looking at our memory, and we, oh, that's interesting. Will this show us over time? I thought I was going to have to take snapshots and stuff. So we're at 83 megabytes. We're at 113. We're at 126. Oh, okay, so they do clean it up. Oh, right, yeah, of course they do, because they're garbage collecting. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do this very reliably if you weren't doing that. Now that's interesting. I'm stuck. Can't go any, okay, there we go. Maybe I was stuck at garbage collection. No, just kidding. That would freeze up everything. That's so weird that I'm getting stuck. Yeah, well, anyway, they have to manage garbage collection. You won't have to do this, at least with the advanced thing that we're working on. So anyway, for our simple one though, we'll not worry about garbage collection. We'll just keep on adding more stuff to the data, and then people can use the advanced one if they also don't want to worry about garbage collection, but they don't want it to be a problem either. So with that, we don't need to worry about the upper and lower boundary. All of this stuff we can get rid of. That and all of this. Okay, cool. So we've got our infinite scroll. Our index is literally going to be the virtual row index. This drastically simplifies things if you don't want the much better experience than what we typically experience on the web for infinite scroll. Okay, and we don't need this. We're not going to need that, or I could just do this. Yeah, okay, and also, most people don't server render their infinite scrolls either, so we'll show that not infinite scrolled. Let's see. We are still going to need a start and limit sort of thing on the back end. So we say the user scrolled past this point, let's go get more. And so here's where we left off. So start there and get like 200 more. Yeah. So we are still going to keep that. This loader runs for the use loader data. And we can server render that first bit. Sure, why not? Yeah, we are going to want to start, which will be our React use ref initialized at 0. And then, how did we know in here? So it's on the re-render. Yeah, right. Yeah, so when it's the last virtual item. Yeah, in fact, I remember looking at his example and I'm like, man, that sure is a lot easier when you don't have to, when you don't care about these other problems. So I think it's on here. I think he was using React Query to go get, to manage pagination stuff. Maybe not. Oh no, it was variable, I think is what he's talking about. So sorry, just reading some YouTube comments here. Is Remix viable for slowly integrating into an existing project, or is it only usable for Greenfield? It is definitely possible to use Remix for integrating over time. I don't know. I'm sure that there are people in the community who are already doing it, and so you could probably get some insights from them. I was working on refactoring a Remix app or a Next app to Remix, and found that to be a little tricky. But I think that I was like, basically, I'm not done until it's all done anyway, so I wasn't really concerned about migrating over time. I'm pretty sure there would be a way to do that, but I'm not sure what that way is because I haven't tried. So you can take a look at or ask people in the Discord community, see what they say. So eDev, a front-end dev for the church. I'm guessing it's the same church I belong to. We all refer to it as the church. But yeah, that's awesome. The calendar app with Remix. That's sweet. You're going to love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so variable, I think this is talking about variable height, infinite scroll. That's what I was looking for. And this is the one that I believe he's using React Query for. Yeah, with Axios and whatnot. And he's got this fetch more with this use infinite query. So here, yeah, he calls fetch more when the last item index, when we're one away, basically. Okay, so we'll come over here. Let's see. Here, let's bring in our fetcher. Use fetcher. And I can't remember if this takes, yeah, it doesn't take any arguments. We'll have this React use effect. That's fetcher dot load, which will trigger a get request to go get stuff. And where do we want to load it? I think we can load it. I think we can do that. I don't know. We'll try it. We'll see what happens when we do that. I don't think that'll work because I need to add a query string on this too. Okay, what is this complaining about? So you can't give it any more arguments. Yeah, I don't expect you would because you're making a get request. But I would want to like maybe put headers on, I imagine. Maybe. Fetcher. Submit. If I do submit, then I can provide the value and then the options, which involve the method replace. Huh. Yeah, I should probably look at the docs. I've never actually used fetcher before. I've played around with it a little bit, but yeah, I've not done too much with it. Use fetcher is for like, well, it's for stuff like this, making a network request that is not attached to a navigation. That's what it's for. Okay. We got our type, we got our submission, we got our data, we got our form, we got our submit. And then loads data from a route loader, just like use submit, except doesn't cause navigation. Just like form doesn't cause navigation. You'll get over the dot in JSX, don't worry. That was Ryan. Okay. Oh, actually I do use a use fetcher. This newsletter sign up form example was, my use case on my website was the reason use fetcher was created. Yeah, so Gerardo is asking if React Query is a good match for Remix. You can bring your React Query along with Remix if you like. You're gonna find out that when you're done, that you're not doing anything with React Query that you can't just do with Remix by itself. And so feel free to, you can, it's possible, but you're doing extra work that you don't need to do. Combining remix and recoil. Yeah, so you could do that also. Recoil solves a very specific problem, and from the beginning, I was worried that people were going to use recoil to solve other problems that it's not suited for, and that you don't need it for. So if you have the problem that recoil is specifically built to solve, then great, bring it along. You can totally use it. If you, however, are just using it to manage some global state management, you're going to find that you don't need it. Okay, let's get back to this. So you can load some route. It doesn't look like there's any way to set headers or anything like that, which would probably be a feature that could be useful, I imagine. But currently, no way to do that. For me, I think I'm fine using load to do an actual get. I don't want to do a submission. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to say simple, and we'll have our our query string QS. QS equals new URL search params, and we're not going to do that. We're going to do this. So our start is going to be, how do we calculate that? Start is, hold on a second, total items. Oh, can't go over. Okay, that's for something else. Our data overscan. Yeah, so this is where we're going to get our needed start. Yeah, okay, so this actually, we're going to borrow some of this. Or let needed start equal to start. Why is this? Okay, yeah. And then our upper boundary is the start plus the limit minus the overscan. And let's bring in that overscan stuff. And our limit. Yep, we got that right there. Why are you complaining? Oh, it'll fix itself. Thank you, Json. Okay, and our limit. Limit is always going to be our 200. So start plus the limit minus the data overscan. Why is this complaining? Oh, whoops. Oh, no, that's a ref. So this needs to be oh, right. Yeah, I need to mutate the start. Hold on. I think we'll just call this, yeah, start ref. It's always nice to be clear about that. Okay, sweet. So our upper boundary we need the lower boundary. Because we're going to just keep on adding stuff. We're never going to remove it, so we never need to request for stuff in the past. So we want the lower boundary. Oh no, I'm flipped around. Lower means lower by index. Upper means upper by index, but lower by scroll. That's confusing. Okay, so we've got our last virtual item. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so we've got our last virtual item index. If we have now scrolled past the upper boundary, which is where our current start is, let's that makes more sense to say the current start. Where the current start is plus the limit. So start plus limit, that's as far as we went, minus the data overscan. So we want to have more stuff. So if our last virtual item is greater than this position, that means we need to go get more. And so now our needed start, the user scrolling down, move the window down. So our needed start now is that minus the middle count divided by the data overscan plus the data, or times the data overscan. So yeah, so basically we're going to take the whole window and move it so that the middle of the window is where they currently are. That only matters if they can go backwards and we need to request stuff in the back. For us, because this is simpler, we can say, oh, you made it this far. I'm going to just request the next, the rest of the stuff, which will be this, this start ref current plus the limit. Boy, that's way easier. Sheesh. Okay, cool. So with that, then, and instead of calling this needed start, we'll just call this the new start. And we can say if the new start is not equal or is equal to the start ref current, then we'll return. We don't need to do anything. Stringify that sucker. And then here we'll have our limit is limit. I don't know why that's complaining. Oh, right. Maybe? Yeah. Okay, cool. Sweet. So this also wants the fetcher, which hopefully is memoized. They better have memoized that. I expect they have. Okay. So we'll load that, and then response. Oh, hold on a second. That returns void? Oh, right, because the fetcher itself just has all the stuff on it that we need. So let's see. So when the fetcher is done loading, then we're going to append its data to the data we already have, which we got from the loader. So here's what we'll do. We're gonna items. So items, our initial items are gonna come from the loader. Okay, so that works. And then when the fetcher is done loading, we'll have a React use effect. Fetcher dot state. Yeah. So when it goes back to idle. Hold on a second. I think there's a type also. And the type can be done. So when it goes to done. So yeah. And every time we fetch, it'll start over. And then it'll come back to done. That's what we want. So if fetcher type is done, then we'll, yeah, I mean, that's sort of right, but not quite. So items, or yeah, previous items. Previous items. I have a feeling we're going to have some issues here. If you scroll really fast, then we may end up canceling the previous loads. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what how that works. And yeah, we'll see. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna take our previous items, fetcher data as any, and then items. Yeah, whatever. We can worry about that later. And then our start ref is that new start. Yes. Okay. And this data is going to give me back items and the total items, which I don't need for this, but that's fine. Okay, cool. So then we come back down here, data.items. We'll just use items. Okay, let's see what happens. I don't think it's going to work, but maybe it will. Yeah, nothing to see here. Whoa. Yeah, something was not happy. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, so as we're scrolling, this is re-rendering like a gajillion times. Here, let's fix that yellow underline. Fetcher done. Fetcher is done. Oh, what else are you complaining about? Oh, it wants the new start. And the fetcher items. Oh, gee whiz. Yeah, I guess. In fact, fetcher data. So if the fetcher data ever changes, then the other thing that this wants then is just the new start. Yeah. Okay, well. So this is re-rendering and it's calling that fetcher load a million times. Is that what's going on? Yeah. Why is it calling it over and over again? Let's see. New start and fetcher. Oh, maybe fetcher is not memoized. That could be. That would be so sad and funny at the same time. Fetcher, use fetcher. It should be. Come on. It's got to be. Fetcher with components. Yeah, it's memoized. But maybe there's something else in here that's not. Yep, these are all the trick to get something that like stays consistent forever. So those are all fine. So it's just this fetcher that's coming from this transition manager that's based on a key. So I'm sure that that is also stable. So I'm not sure why. Why is this complaining? Oh, right, yeah, because it wants the new start. Yeah, I guess new start. Yeah, I feel a little uncomfortable. I feel like we may end up putting the same items in twice in a row or something. There's probably a better way to do what I'm doing. We'll figure it out. Okay, so why is it calling fetcher load a bajillion times? The new start is equal to the start ref current. Oh, right, because, yeah, that's why. Because we don't actually update the start ref current until the request comes back, which is too late. So we update it here, and now we don't have to do this. And now that resolves that problem. Okay, let's try that. So now we come down here, and there it makes a request, and all the items are there. We keep going, and boom. Okay, sweet. Now, my question is, what if we are on a slow network and we scroll really fast? Yep, there we go. We're canceling these requests, which, yeah, I can kind of see that makes a little bit of sense. Yeah, see, and now we're off because we canceled the request for some of those. So the solution then is, because like, so what's going on here is we scrolled And we didn't wait for things to finish loading. We just kept going. And so clearly we don't care about that data. We scrolled past it. And so canceling it is correct. We don't need it. Let's just cancel it. That is correct. That's what we're looking for. The problem is that we're just appending things. So what we really should be doing is inserting things at the particular index where they should be. The problem is that we have no mechanism for when the user is scrolling back to say, oh my gosh, it's 5:30. 7. I have a piano recital for my kids in not too long, so I've got to go. That's not what we were saying. Oh my goodness, time flies by. So yeah, we've got we were canceling this because we scrolled past it. But if I scroll back, then I need to be able to say, hey, do I have that data? Do I have that section of data? If I don't, then I need to go get it. So there will be a simple mechanism for doing that, to just check not only has my start changed, but also is the data that is at that position already, do I already have it? I'm starting to feel like I should come back to this advanced, keep some of this logic as we have it, so that we can do scrolling backward and forward, and then just remove less. So we'll keep most of this stuff, but we'll remove like the query string and restoring scroll position and that sort of thing. So yeah, this will still be required with the simple version. Okay, anyway, we're gonna do this tomorrow. So yeah, how would you scroll past something that did not load? So because we're using virtualization, we say, hey, this is how long our thing is. And so we make it so that it looks like that's how big it is. That's what windowing is that you just make it look like it's there, even though it's not there. And yeah, so that's how that works. It's magic, and it's fake, but it is the only way you can get like good performance on some user experiences. Oh, and Ryan comes in here. What's up, Ryan? I don't know if fetcher is stable. Your fetcher changes after it loads. I don't know when you said that. 4 minutes ago. So I think we came to the same conclusion. Oh, he was talking about memoization. Your fetcher changes after it loads. Oh, that's interesting. So this transition manager fetcher key, it sounds like what you're saying is that should not change. But maybe the transition manager get fetcher will give you a new fetcher every time or something. In any case, Ryan, if you have ideas on well, no, it seems to be working. I don't know. It looks like it's stable, but maybe it's not. He says, I don't know. I think it is. Anyway, yeah, I think I know the best solution forward here. So we'll work on that some more tomorrow. Thanks everybody for hanging out. This was fun. And I hope you have a marvelous evening. I'm going to go to my kids' piano recital now. Peace!